20 minutes ago, the kind of moment most people scroll past without noticing began unfolding, and it carried the weight of something strangely personal. Elon Musk stood there, not speaking to a crowd, not addressing a global audience, but speaking in a way that felt directed at you, as if he could see the potential you've been quietly carrying for years, the dreams you've stored away, the pieces of ambition you haven't told anyone about. His message wasn't about rockets or cars or artificial intelligence. It was about what's coming, specifically for you, and why you cannot afford to ignore it anymore. He spoke like someone who has seen far ahead into a future most people don't dare imagine. A future shaped not by luck or perfect timing but by the people who dare to act on the kind of moment you are standing inside right now. There was something strangely grounding in the way he framed it, the idea that the world is shifting faster than it ever has, but that the speed of the world doesn't matter nearly as much as the speed of your decision to step into who you're capable of becoming. He didn't talk about success as some distant mountain reserved for a chosen few. He spoke about it as something living within you, something waiting, something that grows the moment you stop doubting yourself. He talked about how so many people underestimate their own impact because they measure themselves against the noise of the world instead of the clarity of their own potential. You've lived long enough to know that potential alone doesn't change anything. But direction does. Action does. That tiny shift in your thought, the one that says maybe I can, does. It doesn't have to be dramatic. It doesn't have to be loud. It just has to be real. When he said the words "what's coming for you is bigger than what you're walking through," it didn't sound like a prediction. It sounded like a truth you've always known but rarely believed. Because deep down, you feel it, don't you? That growing pressure, that invisible momentum, the sense that life is quietly building towards something you can't fully explain but can definitely feel. You've had moments recently where you wondered if the difficulties you faced were pushing you down or pushing you forward. And the truth is, they were shaping you, subtly, painfully, purposefully, into someone capable of handling what's next. Musk talked about how most people wait for the perfect conditions before they begin, but that the future belongs to those who begin first and perfect later. You might have been waiting for clarity, waiting for the right timing, waiting to feel ready. But readiness doesn't arrive like a neatly wrapped package. It grows through motion. It develops through discomfort. It sharpens through trial. You're not behind. You're not late. You're right at the doorway of the version of yourself you've long imagined but haven't yet met. The message was simple. You are entering a phase where the path you choose will matter more than the one you've walked so far. You're stepping into a time where confidence will matter more than credentials, where courage will matter more than certainty, where discipline will matter more than circumstance. And you know this because you've felt the pull, the quiet urge to do more, improve more, become more. You've sensed that the life you're living isn't the full story. There is more for you, and it's been waiting for you to finally claim it. Maybe you've been doubting yourself lately. Maybe you've questioned your decisions, your worth, your direction. It's okay. Every person who rises goes through that internal war first. Growth feels confusing before it feels powerful. But you're not losing. You're transforming. And transformation always feels like breaking before it feels like building. Musk's message wasn't about predicting some external event. It was about reminding you that what's coming for you is heavily influenced by how you decide to show up right now. Not tomorrow. Not next year. Now. He spoke about the moment before the moment, the strange, quiet period where nothing seems to be happening, but everything is aligning beneath the surface. That might be exactly where you are. The opportunities you can't see yet are already moving. The people you haven't met yet are already on a path that intersects with yours. The doors that look closed are strengthening your resolve so that when the right one opens, you'll walk through it with certainty instead of hesitation. Life doesn't hand breakthroughs to the person who waits the longest. It hands them to the person who refuses to stop moving, even when the movement is small, even when no one sees, even when it feels like you're walking through fog with no idea what's on the other side. But the fog is temporary. Your potential isn't. Think about the dreams that still visit you. The ones that don't leave. The ones that pull at your curiosity, at your courage, at the version of yourself you've always sensed but never fully stepped into. Why do they keep returning? Because they are yours. They belong to you in a way no one else can claim. They're not random. They're not fantasies. They are previews of the person you're meant to become. Musk talked about how the world rewards bold thinkers, resilient spirits, and people who choose action over doubt. But he also said something even more powerful, that courage isn't loud. It's not flashy. It's not about grand gestures. Courage is the quiet moment you choose to try again. It's the moment you pick yourself up after failing. It's the moment you decide that your dreams are worth more than your excuses. And you, whether you realize it or not, have been building that courage every single time you kept going despite what was trying to break you. You've survived seasons that would have stopped a weaker version of you. You've carried burdens that almost made you give up. You've risen from failures that once felt final. And if you look back at those moments, you'll see a pattern. Every time the world tried to push you down, you came back stronger. Every time life closed a door, you learned something that prepared you for the next opening. Every time you lost something, you eventually gained clarity about what truly mattered, so when the message said don't ignore this, it wasn't a warning. It was a reminder. A reminder that your life is shifting into a phase you've been unconsciously preparing for. You're stronger than the person you were last year. You're wiser than the person you were 5 years ago. You're more capable than the version of you who doubted whether you could survive the difficult moments you faced. And now, because of everything you've lived through, you are finally ready, even if you don't feel ready yet. What's coming for you is growth. Breakthrough. Alignment. Opportunities that match your effort. People who match your energy. circumstances that reward your persistence. A future that reflects every small decision you make starting today. Don't underestimate what can happen in a single year of focus. A year of discipline. A year of choosing yourself. A year of refusing to settle. A year of building the life you want instead of surviving the life you have. The world may not know your name yet, but your potential does. And it's pushing you forward, nudging you, whispering that now is the time, your time, to step into the version of yourself you've been delaying. The version who trusts their intuition. The version who takes action. The version who no longer apologizes for wanting more, so don't ignore this moment. Don't downplay what you feel rising inside you. Don't brush off the quiet certainty that keeps returning. You're not imagining it. You're evolving into someone who is about to surprise themselves with what they can achieve. And 20 minutes ago, a message meant for millions became a message meant specifically for you. Your future is approaching faster than you think. What's coming is bigger than what you're leaving behind. And the only thing you need now is the courage to step forward and claim it. And as those words echoed, maybe not from a stage, maybe not from a broadcast, but from that deeper place inside you where truths always hit hardest, you sensed that this wasn't just another message meant to inspire briefly and fade away. It felt like a turning point, the kind of moment people look back on years later and say, that was where everything shifted for me. Because sometimes transformation doesn't come with fireworks or applause. Sometimes it begins quietly, in the space between who you are and who you know you can become. You might not realize it yet, but you are closer than ever to the life you've been trying to manifest. Closer to the version of yourself you've imagined on your best days. Closer to opportunities you once thought were out of reach. You've spent years walking through lessons that didn't always make sense at the time, challenges that felt unfair, setbacks that broke you open, but every one of them carved strength into you. The kind of strength you can't learn from books, the kind that only comes from surviving the storms you never asked for. And that strength is the foundation for what's coming. Musk's message wasn't about prediction, it was about permission. Permission to dream bigger. Permission to trust yourself. Permission to stop shrinking your potential to fit the expectations of people who never saw your vision. Permission to stop apologizing for wanting a better life. Permission to take risks that scare you because the alternative, staying where you are, is scarier. Maybe no one ever told you this, but you are allowed to change your story. You are allowed to build a life that feels aligned with your purpose. You are allowed to outgrow your old habits, old environments, old versions of yourself. You are allowed to become someone you once believed was too much, too ambitious, too unrealistic. Because the truth is, the world needs people who are willing to reach beyond what seems possible. That's how every breakthrough happens. Someone decides that impossible is just a word and not a rule, and you, right now, are on the edge of your own breakthrough. You can feel it, can't you? That quiet intensity inside you, that sense that you're meant for something bigger than where you currently stand. You might not be able to explain it to anyone. You might not even be able to explain it to yourself. But it's there, pushing you, encouraging you to trust the path unfolding beneath your feet. Everything you want is not as far away as it once was. Think about the dreams you've had but never pursued. The ideas you pushed aside because life became heavy. The goals you whispered to yourself late at night but never said out loud because they felt too fragile to expose. Those dreams haven't disappeared. They've been waiting. Waiting for you to believe again. Waiting for you to choose them. Waiting for you to understand that they weren't fantasies, they were invitations. What's coming for you is not luck. It's alignment. It's the result of every difficult decision you made when no one was watching. It's the reward for all the times you kept going when giving up seemed easier. It's the reflection of the person you've been becoming slowly, quietly, relentlessly. And now, life is preparing to hand you opportunities that match the strength you built in the dark. You might not have all the answers right now. You don't need them. You might not feel fully ready. You don't need to. You might still have doubts. Everyone does. But doubts don't disqualify you. Fear doesn't disqualify you. Failure doesn't disqualify you. The only thing that can stop you now is choosing to ignore the moment you're standing in. This next chapter of your life will require boldness, yes. It will require consistency. It will require showing up for yourself even on days when motivation feels distant. But it will also bring rewards you've never experienced before. It will bring clarity that makes your past struggles make sense. It will bring people who see your worth without you having to prove it. It will bring opportunities that feel like they were crafted specifically for you, and maybe, for the first time in a long time, you'll feel peace in knowing that you didn't give up on yourself. That you trusted the pull towards something greater. That you didn't ignore the signs pointing you toward growth. That when life whispered, "It's your time," you listened. This is not the climax of your story. This is the ignition point. The place where momentum begins. The moment where everything that felt stuck begins to move. The part of your life you'll look back on with gratitude because it was here, right here, where you finally decided to rise. And the truth is, nothing can stop what's coming for you when you decide you're ready to receive it. You might not notice it yet, but life has a way of preparing you long before it reveals why. The struggles you went through weren't random. The people who left weren't accidents. The delays, the disappointments, the sudden endings, they weren't signs that you were unworthy. They were shaping you, quietly building you into someone capable of handling the magnitude of what's coming. And now, for the first time, that future is close enough for you to feel it. There's a reason you've been thinking differently lately. A reason you've been craving more out of life. A reason you've stopped tolerating things that used to drain your energy. Growth becomes uncomfortable right before it becomes undeniable. You're shedding old versions of yourself without even trying. You're letting go of patterns that used to hold you back. You're starting to understand your worth in a way you never did before. And that self-awareness is one of the clearest signs that you're stepping into a new chapter. What Elon said, what resonated so deeply, wasn't about technology or predictions or global change. It was about personal evolution, about the inner shift that happens before your outer world catches up. He spoke about a future where people stop waiting for permission and start giving themselves permission. Where people stop asking what if I fail? And start asking what if I succeed? Where people stop minimizing their potential just to fit into places they've outgrown. You've been living small for too long, not because you lacked ambition but because you cared too much about not disappointing others or stepping outside what felt safe. But safety is not the same as fulfillment. Safety is not the same as purpose. You're realizing that now. You're realizing that the cost of staying the same has become greater than the fear of change. That realization is your turning point. That realization is the doorway to everything you've been waiting for. You don't need to rush. You don't need to force anything. The path ahead won't require you to be perfect. It will only require you to be willing. Willing to try. Willing to learn. Willing to stumble. Willing to grow. Because what's coming for you won't be handed to you, you'll walk into it through persistence, self-belief, and the courage to take one step, then another, then another. You've spent years watching others achieve things while wondering when it would finally be your turn. But what you didn't know is that your turn has been forming slowly, piece by piece, preparing to emerge when your mind, heart, and strength aligned. That alignment is happening now. You're not the same person you were even a few months ago. Your priorities have shifted. Your mindset has sharpened. Your resilience has deepened. Life has been whispering to you through every challenge, you're ready for more. Maybe you felt stuck because life needed you to pause long enough to see what truly matters. Maybe you felt lost because life needed you to explore yourself before exploring the world. Maybe you felt overlooked because life needed you to develop in the shadows before stepping into the light. The shadows aren't punishment. They're preparation. And now that preparation is complete, you're about to walk into opportunities that feel strangely familiar, like something you were always meant to experience. You're about to meet people who elevate you, who understand you, who see potential in you without you having to convince them. You're about to make decisions that open doors you didn't even know existed. You're about to surprise yourself with your strength, your discipline, your bravery. And you will look back at this moment and understand why you had to go through everything you did. What's coming for you will demand your attention. It will require you to show up. It will stretch you, challenge you, and expand you. But it will also reward you in ways that make every past hardship worth it. And the best part? You're not entering this new season empty-handed. You're entering it with all the lessons that shaped you, all the resilience that built you, all the intuition that now guides you. You are stepping into a chapter where you finally become the person you've always felt inside. Not the watered-down version. Not the insecure version. Not the version held back by doubt or fear. But the version who trusts their own path. The version who moves with intention. The version who knows they are capable of more than they used to believe. This is why you can't ignore the moment you're in. You're not just hearing a message, you're becoming the message. You're not just waiting for the future, you're aligning with it. And whether you're ready to admit it or not, something in your life is about to change in a way that feels significant, sudden, and undeniably right. All you have to do is keep moving forward.